this is a question the whole academia and not only academia, but the whole world is asking these days. What is this transdisciplinarity all about? Let's understand it very quickly, that initially the pursuance of knowledge was, of course, an important thing, not only because for the sake of degrees and getting a job, but knowledge is for the improvement of society and trying to find out generic questions about civilization, science, and everything included. And this knowledge initially was compartmentalized as in the form of separate disciplines like physics, chemistry, political science, you name it. And then it was a realization that we need to focus on these subjects deeply. And that is how these disciplines, if you note the word discipline, was used. Then probably in course of time, very soon it was realized that these singular disciplines may not be enough. So we started the notion of multidisciplinary education, bringing many disciplines together. And that also, like, it was possible for same person, same institution, agency to get insights, to elicit insights from different disciplines. But then that was also not really the thing that the civilization was warranting. The problems were still not being addressed. So we step up and we go to what is known as interdisciplinarity or interdisciplinary approach to knowledge, which is that different disciplines, different subjects, they collaborate together and try to seek a solution. And up from there, and this is ultimate, there was a realization that still we are still being compartmentalized. Even when you say interdisciplinary, we are not losing the disciplinary bias and sort of moorings that we have. So we come to what we call as transdisciplinarity. And why this is so? Because transdisciplinarity was supposed to be a problem solving solution. You have a problem, like for example development, peace, democracy. This falls in our area. Even in science and technology, and especially in digital world, it was realized that all these subjects, all the disciplines can merge together, can fuse together, can bring together their insights, caring nothing about the foundations or the disciplinarity. And essentially then transdisciplinarity is co-creation. It's co-creation of problem solving. You have problems, and to sort of sort out those problems, I think you need transdisciplinarity. And that is the message of all the global agencies. And the idea is that the futures of education lies in our capacity to transform ourselves as quickly as possible into a transdisciplinary knowledge system. And I think this is precisely what we are planning to do in Goa, for instance, bringing these disciplines into a single, sort of board, and using their insights, bringing together knowledge in a manner that these foundations or partitions are gone. It is very evident, like for example, we today, the fad for knowledge for the sake of knowledge, or as we used to say earlier in our Dev Bhasha or Sanskrit, as we call it, Swantay Sukhay, that phase is gone. People want to seek a problem solving approach, as I mentioned earlier, that they need to really detangle, understand the problematic, as we call it, and to understand that problematic thoroughly, we need to bring all the insights from wherever. I'll give you an example. Peace, for example, that's my area. Now, peace, according to the most recent understanding or United Nations understanding, is today all about 17 goals of Sustainable Development Goals. Whether it is hunger, whether it is poverty, whether it is environment, whether it is law and governance. So we have to understand things in a much comprehensive vision. And in order to cast your net wide, you cannot do with these compartments and partitions and divides. And that's where transdisciplinarity comes into being. It helps to co-create. An important thing which I haven't mentioned so much in so many words is that breaking the silos, the barrier between academia and the society at large. Say, for example, transdisciplinarity in this sense would envisage a day-to-day collaboration, a lived-in collaboration between industry and academia and societies and the stakeholders and the universe. So, once you start envisioning a much wider kind of canvas, then you have no option but to go in for an education which is truly transdisciplinary. Well, it all goes back to this young man's vision, extraordinary vision, Dr. Rahul Karat. He's been almost he always starves for good ideas, hankers for good visions to come by. And this was his idea, actually based on his own research, in his own work, in his own way, that he wanted an institution that is truly, and truly when I say it, not simply for the sake of it, a transdisciplinarity based institution where machine sciences, humanities, environment, governance, industry, all these ideas can be studied, can be understood together. And with all this together, also there's a focus on problem solving approach. So this was the vision. And in order to achieve this vision, we did together, of course, under Rahulji's lead, extraordinary things. We held 26 national visionary conferences, all parts of India, all parts, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, involving IITs, NITs, universities, all you name it. And we brought in best and brightest people, especially people, youngish people, if I can use the term, who have stakes in the future. 26 national visionary conferences. What should education really look like? And then on the top of it, 9 international visionary conferences in all parts of the world, United States, in Europe. I was myself a part of 3 such international visionary conferences in Europe, in Dublin, in Belfast, and in Sweden, in Uppsala, Karlstad, all these universities together, wherein we pose this question that what should be the future of education? And in doing this, mind you, we essentially based our queries on UNESCO's mandate, and for good reason, because MIT World Peace University, very much like MIT World Peace University Pune, is a UNESCO chaired institution. So we relied on a very foundational study by UNESCO, very recent one, on futures of education, in which they surveyed, they questioned millions of people around the world to really pose them the question that what are going to be the future challenges and how these future challenges can be met, whether it is climate related, demographic upheavals, whether it is about the challenges of digital technologies, digital designs, for instance. And through these over 35 conferences, we elicited useful ideas which were kind of put in this whole package of MIT World Peace University Goa. Beautiful structure, scenic environment. And in Goa, what we are going to see is perhaps not only India's but Asia Pacific's one of the most quintessential form of transdisciplinary education. And I hope and I'm very convinced that this university will set new bars, new parameters of excellence in our subcontinent and I think globally as well. First and foremost, they become future citizens ready for future. They become totally prepared to assume their role as a global citizen. They would not only understand their responsibilities as a citizen of this country, but also towards the global or common features, common challenges of the civilization, the global commons as we call it. So I think this is one singular achievement they have. Then it is also about composite personality development. These students will develop faculties which cover not only their intellectual capacity, their physical capacity also, their EQ, emotional quotient, their intelligence, and so many other things. So in one word, if the purpose of education is to prepare or to make an individual or a student achieve his or her potentials to the hilt, I think this is the university that's going to provide that environment. Of course, in rather the pedagogies will be different, the training modules would be different, and as I said, its grand focus on transdisciplinary education is going to bring all these ideas together. It's difficult to say anything in this campus MIT World Peace University, because the grand old stalwart of peace studies, revered Dr. Vishwanath Karat, who himself is a UNESCO chair holder, has set up these models even before the world community started thinking about it. He could see that just by becoming a job aspirant, by learning machine engineering or pharmacy and law is not enough. So this university, MIT World Peace University, started with the notion that peace needs to be an essential element, essential ingredient to understand, to make an individual, a student, a perfect citizen. And that is how peace was introduced at all levels, which is absolutely a unique university. I mean, it requires certain courage of conviction to call a university which had been excelling, doing excellent work as far as engineering education is concerned, to consciously adopt a name World Peace University. Because peace is not simply one section of your life. Peace is about, it's an everyday life, as Mahatma Gandhi, the father of this nation, used to say, that peace is not simply a destination. There is no way to peace, peace is the way. So peace provides that resilience, that character, that understanding. It widens your canvas for a student, even if he's engineering student, law graduate, economics students, and rest. So I think this idea is very at the core of UNESCO. Mind you, when UNESCO was established, the preamble, the very first lines of UNESCO were that since the wars, violence, let's put it, begins in the minds of humans, it is in the minds of humans that defenses of peace should be built. So you have to build these ideas in the minds of engineers, scientists. And that is the reason, if I very quickly mention, after the harrowing tragedies of nuclear bomb in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and in the world that's being witnessing today, there was this man, Alfred Nobel, who actually invented the use of dynamite in a very remarkable manner, which was responsible for the destruction of people. And at the end in his life, he realized that, well, peace is required. So it was Nobel who introduced Nobel Peace Prize, and that is what is given in Oslo in recent time. So the connection between peace and teaching peace, I think, is not simply an unwise philosophical or a missionary purpose. It is very essential, very vital to way humans can develop their, fully harness their potentials to become truly a global citizen.